Hello and welcome to episode 425 of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now joining me on today's episode is Michael Amott, the guitarist from the awesome band Arch Enemy. On today's episode, we get to sit down and talk about the band's brand new album, Blood Dynasty. This album truly is a masterpiece from start to finish. Arch Enemy never disappoints. In my opinion, I think they've probably got one of the best female vocalists in metal, and they don't call her the Queen Beast for nothing. This album is truly an absolute masterpiece. It is pure fucking metal, and you're going to absolutely love it. And the interview with me and Michael will be coming up in just a couple of minutes' time. But in true typical Mark and Me fashion, each and every episode of Mark and Me, I use this little introduction just to quickly touch base and talk about my last episode. It was also a heavy episode. I was joined by Wednesday 13. A massive thanks to Wednesday for sharing the episode, for all you guys out there for checking out the episode. It absolutely went crazy with numbers, and a massive thanks to all of you for taking the time to listen. But I think today we need to focus on Arch Enemy, one of the albums of the year, and we're only in April. You're going to absolutely love this interview, so I think the best thing to do is to get straight to it. Here's me and Michael talking all things Arch Enemy. So Mike, thanks for joining me today on the Mark and Me podcast.
Well, thank you for having me.
Mike, what I love to do with all guests that come on the Mark and Me podcast is I like to start from the very beginning, and I like to take it back to when you were a child, and maybe if you can remember that first album that maybe you bought with your pocket money, or that you were given maybe from a family member or a friend that you remember absolutely falling in love with.
Sure, yeah. I mean, my first sort of musical memories are really sitting with my mum and listening to classical music. She had quite a large collection of classical music, but she still does. And so that was really the first music that I got into, I guess, was classical, And after that, it was various things. I can't remember, I also got into weird, almost chronologically got into rock and roll in the history. Like I got into like Elvis, and Elvis was big around when I was a kid because he died around that time.
Yeah.
And so they were showing all his movies and everything on TV. Again, I mean, it was old stuff, but when he passed away, it was like he became, very popular again somehow. And yeah, I just thought he was cool. I liked that music. And then But then after that, I got into stuff like Kiss, and they were very popular in Sweden, especially amongst kids, really, almost like children's music. But I still love Kiss. So that's really Kiss. And then after that, actually, it took a bit of a turn. I got into punk. I had a friend who was really into music, and he turned me on to like the Sex Pistols and the Damned and Sham 69, 999, Buzzcock, stuff like that. And then after that, it was like into the more harder punk stuff with, the early 80s. So it was like Discharge and The Exploited, GBH, a lot of that UK 82 punk wave thing that I was really into for years. But I guess the first record I bought with my own money, as you said, was the Sex Pistols, Never Mind the Bollocks, which is a very famous album, of course.
Yeah,
And
absolutely amazing.
I still own that copy. But I mean, I bought it. They were long gone by the time I got it. I probably got it in 1980 or something. I picked it up.
That's absolutely incredible. And what about live music? Because my first one, I'm 42 years old, so my first gig was Green Day. And I wondered what your first gig was that you can remember that you like went to and maybe you absolutely fell in love with.
Um, it wasn't really anything famous. It was like a band at a local festival, like a local show, a local lineup, and metal bands, and I really enjoyed that. So it was very early 80s. So, just seeing bands do it, at the kind of at the youth center kind of place, and seeing kids that were a few years older than me doing it was very inspirational.
I mean, you've got such a great foundation there, especially with Elvis and stuff like that. And I wondered, obviously, you've been in many bands and we can talk about your career to date, but I was wondering what was it in you or where were you at what point that made you think, I actually want to pick up a guitar, I want to be in a band, I want to do this as a career, I don't just want to have it as a hobby?
Oh, that wasn't until much later. I mean, I started in bands when I was 14 years old
Yeah,
and with my mates and, just learning how to play and starting a band at the same time, pretty much. And then after that, it was just a few years of, we got a bit better and then we were like playing local shows, playing all around Sweden, actually, and just recording demos and stuff like that, and getting a bit better at our crafts and then improving as a live act and stuff like that. And then I left that band and I started another band. And but all this stuff was very extreme music, and it was super underground. It was like
yeah,
there was no. I never really thought of music as being a career option or anything. I mean, I've never thought about a career full stop, basically. I mean, and I definitely didn't think music was going to pay my bills. So I thought, pretty much, I was just always going to have a regular job somehow that would allow me to keep doing music, which was my passion and my hobby, basically. And then something happened, and I mean, I made a record, my first record in early 1990, and then I left that band, actually left my own band, and I joined a British band. And that was really when I got on tour and stuff like that for the first time. So then I was actually touring and playing every night, so, which was a huge difference, to just playing every other month or something like that. So you could actually really improve your skills and your craft, by playing every night, which was great. So I did that. That was all over Europe and then also in the United States. And I was only 20 years old, so it was that was really the real beginning, and that was when I joined Carcass. That all that stuff happened, and I played with them for about 3 years, and then I left them, and I went into doing my own bands again, which one of them is Arch Enemy.
amazing. And it's scary that, it's almost 30 years since Black Earth came out, so you've been in the band
Right.
almost 30 years, which blows my mind. And surely when you formed your own band and Arch Enemy came about, you never thought to yourself, we'd be sitting here 30 years later talking about new albums, more tours. Nobody ever predicts that long, do they, in such a great run with a band in this industry that's so hard sometimes to keep on going in.
No, I mean it's been quite. I mean, it's been a hell of a ride, but it's also I find it surprising that we're still here, that I'm still here and we're doing it, and but it's been very incremental. Like the progress. It's not been an overnight success or anything like that. It's been a long road. you know, it's been slowly but surely. It's grown and grown, and into what it is today. Where we're playing. We have now we have a career. Actually, I can say, but in the beginning, it was more like you're just doing it. We always did it just for the passion of it, and I still do it for the passion, for the music, really, and then everything else comes after that, really. Hopefully, that the rest of the stuff falls into place if you got good music and people like it.
Have you been able, obviously it's such a long journey, but have you seen the progression from within the band, or is it too difficult? Because as an outsider, obviously you can see yourselves at gigs, at festivals, and then getting on bigger stages and moving up the lineup. And each year it gets bigger, more people are singing your songs back to you. But over those 3 decades, have you really been able to ever reflect and take a good step back and see how far you've come?
Not really. Maybe during the, like you said, we're in it the whole time, right? So it's like difficult to have that perspective. Um, Always just thinking about the next thing, the next step, or I'm already writing new music for the next album after Blood Dynasty, because it's just the way, I don't like to get stuck on things that I did a year ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I just want to keep going, moving forward. And but I think maybe, yes, maybe I was going to say maybe during the pandemic, there was some time to reflect,
Yeah.
of course, and think like, holy shit, yeah. I mean, I was, it's everybody was saying then that live music is dead and it's not going to come back, and blah blah blah. There was a lot of fear and a lot of doubt at that time, right? Even in our industry, and then, but I tried to be quite philosophical about that. I mean, you know, I was just thinking, it's been a great party, and I was invited, and if it's over, it's over. But then it just all came back again. So now we're back on the road again since 2022, whatever. So it's all good.
Did you ever like have a plan B in your head, or were you always going to do music? I mean, looking at your career, there's so much you've done in so many incredible bands and guest appearances, and it looks like a dream career. Was there ever a backup plan if it didn't work out?
No, I've never had a plan B. No. I mean, really, I have no formal education. I'm really just I've not really done a lot of like really real work. I've never been employed, actually, properly employed. So I've just been keeping doing this, and I was really poor for most of the early years, of course, and but I just wanted to do this, and so that's what I don't know. I don't. They say if you have a plan B, you probably don't do plan A. You know what I mean? You don't really
No,
stick
that's what
with
I do.
plan A.
Yeah, I always
Yeah,
think
I don't know.
it's like a
Yeah.
back. It's like it's accepting that maybe Plan A won't work out. So I think if you put all your
Yeah,
focus into one,
yeah. It's really weird. I mean, I always believed um, that I would somehow be doing something cool. But I mean, because I felt like there's something that I'm gonna do, but I don't know what it is. Which is completely ridiculous because it's sort of shot in the dark, really, isn't it? It's like it's not a lot of people that get to do this, but I always felt like I'm not gonna do something regular, normal that they teach you at school. I'm gonna do something else. But that was just me being a cocky kid, I guess. But
did you always have the backing of your family? Because obviously some parents will be absolutely
mm.
terrified if you turn around and say, "Mum, Dad, I want to
Yeah,
be in a band all my life."
they were just extremely relaxed about the whole thing. I don't know. I have no
That's
idea
awesome.
why. Yeah. They would just say, if you're happy, we're happy, kind of thing. They didn't always understand the music, and I'm sure they had some concerns here and there, but when things weren't looking too great. But I've been very sort of I've always had something going on. I'm a bit of I'm a hard worker. I mean, I think part of the biggest reason for whatever success I've had is that I show up for work every day. I work. Arch enemy is the first thing I think about in the morning, and the last thing I think about when I go to bed. And it's been like that for 30 years.
What
And
do you think? And I know it's difficult because you're in the band, but what do you think really it is deep down that makes you still have that feeling that when you wake up in the morning, it's the band you dream. What is it? Because some bands get to the point where they're just
yeah,
not
I know, but
enjoying it
I never
anymore.
developed. I never developed any other interests or hobbies, or you know, I'm not out on the golf course.
No,
I play guitar and I answer emails and I check out. There's a lot of stuff. I'm involved in many aspects of the group. Of the business around it and everything. So it's just there's a lot to do. From designing merchandise to writing new music, of course, and coming up with cool ideas and tours, and there's a lot of stuff. I always say thinking is my business.
And it's really great that we're sitting here right now and you've already announced that your next album is only just over a month away now.
That's right, yeah. 29 days. No, I mean, no, it's well, the Blood Dynasty is coming out end of March, yeah.
It's
That's
your
right.
12th studio album. That blows my mind.
Well, just one after the other now. It's been a few years though.
Yeah.
It's and there are a lot of touring in between, and lineup changes, and getting, it's a lot. It's a lot. It takes a lot to push a band like to just keep it going forward. Of course, there's a lot of work involved, but it's all I know, so I don't really. I think it would be much harder for me to do something else.
And with the departure of Jeff and Joey now joining the band, and this is the first album that we get that's a studio album featuring his work, does it feel like a completely fresh new dynamic because of the change in the band? Do you feel like fans are going to get to hear a slightly different Arch Enemy or a different kind of feel?
I mean, Joey plays in his style. His solos
Yeah.
are great, and he came out to the studio in Sweden and worked with us for about a week, laying down some guitar work, which was cool. And, he's just a really chill guy, and just really nice to work with, and a great player, of course. But other than that, I think it's business as usual. Yeah, it's I write most of the music, and I do it together with Daniel, who plays drums, and he's also like writing music with me. And and then I write lyrics, and Elisa writes lyrics, so 50-50, kind of down the middle, split there. Um, so yeah, I mean that's how we make music.
It's wonderful and a huge tour announced, like so many dates. You're covering most of America and Europe, which is great. But you're going to be very busy for the rest of the year.
Oh yeah, we usually are more busy. We're not doing any festivals this summer, so we're not we're staying away this summer, and then we're gonna
Yeah,
hopefully hit it hard next summer again, 26. But
yeah.
yeah, and usually we go everywhere. We've that's one thing that I've always loved about Arch Enemy is that we go everywhere. We go all over Asia. We used to go all over Russia, and we used to, we go, we won't play one show in China. We'll play 12, or we just did 18 shows in Mexico, for example, before Christmas. Most bands probably just play one or two shows over there. So, but I love bringing the music to the people. We play all over Southeast Asia, Latin America. We'll go wherever we can, really. I think it's a part of it's just such a thrill, to be able to do that and to have fans all over the world that want to see us. So why not do it?
It's incredible. And I take it you just go out there, have the time of your life, and accept that you can't come back and you've got to basically just be out there and do what you can do.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's always been a big part of it, and the biggest part of it is really to go out and play for the fans and to enjoy the lifestyle, really, of just being in music, which is just such a gift, really.
It's incredible. I'm surprised there's no festivals. I take it, is it going to be next year? You're just looking at just doing your own shows this year and then next year having a good try at doing something else?
Exactly, yeah, yeah. Because if you play all the festivals, then people might not come and see you when you do your own tour, you see. They
It's a
think
good point.
we've already seen them on this tour. So yeah, we're staying away there's some strategy there. I'm not into all this strategic stuff because I really like to just go out and play as much as we can. I'd like to play every day if I could. So, playing guitar and what's not to love. I mean, it's really cool. So, but yeah, just gotta we're focusing on the North American tour this year in the spring, and then we have the big European tour in the fall. Of course, includes some English dates as well.
That's going to be cool. I want to come and see you guys because I've seen you at festivals, but I've never seen your own show.
All right. Yeah, it's a different atmosphere, isn't it? It's a more, I don't know. I mean, London, I guess is it where we're playing Hammersmith, something like that, I think, right? But
Yeah.
it's it's you're more intimate, it's more intense in a venue like that than it is in a festival, I believe. Although I do like playing the big festivals as well. Of course, just two different things, slightly different atmospheres, But I personally like when it gets a bit hot and sweaty, sticky, loud.
It's going to be a busy year, and I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. And what I do with all guests that come on is I ask them to pick a song that plays at the end. So once we've done our interview today, you can have any
Mhm.
song by any band that means a lot to you. And I know there's a lot to choose from, but what I'm looking for,
Yeah.
what I'm looking for today, Mike, is a song that came to your heart first before any other song that you would love to be on this podcast to close out today's interview.
Wow. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. I'll think about that. Do you want me to say that now? I have to come up
Yeah,
with it
because
now on the spot.
I'm putting you on the spot, my friend.
Oh shit. Um.
I know I'm being cruel.
Yeah. Oh God. How about old Danish band Merciful Fate, a song called
Oh, nice.
Desecration of Souls. That's a favorite.
Why do you think that one came? Just because it's one of your personal favorites?
Um, I'm getting asked these things all the time now, and I compile lists. And the thing is, you get asked to do these things for various publications and stuff. To do what are your top five albums or top five guitar players? But the problem is I'm not 5 years old anymore, so I don't have little favorite lists like that.
No.
But you have to play the game. And it's all good fun. And I was listening to Merciful Fate the other day actually, so it's a good time.
Awesome. Well, good luck with the album. Good luck with everything. And I'm sure I'll pass across again. And I'm looking forward to the UK show and I'll come and say hello.
Awesome, my friend. Take care. Thank you very
Take
much.
care.
Cheers.
So there it is. There's my interview with me and Michael. A lovely guy, an absolute legend within the industry. Wow, I really enjoyed the interview and I hope you guys at home all did too. And as you heard at the start of today's interview and throughout, their brand new album called Blood Dynasty is literally out now. Go and listen, go and buy it. When you get an opportunity to go and see the band, go and do it. You will not regret it. They're absolutely awesome. And if you go and check out the new album and have absolutely loved it, let me know on any of my socials because I absolutely love seeing it when people listen to the podcast, maybe discover a band or didn't realise an album was out. Because of Mark and me, they then go and find out. And just to see those comments really makes all this worthwhile. Now, what I always do on every episode of Mark and Me, and it's never going to change, is ask while you're listening to this episode to share it. It costs nothing to do. You all have Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or TikTok. Just hit the share button for this episode because it really is the best way to get the word out there. It costs you guys nothing and is literally the click of a couple of buttons. If you also enjoy Mark and Me, please rate it. You can go onto Spotify or Apple Podcasts and leave a review. A 5-star rating goes a long way and helps me get up in the charts and gets more people seeing the podcast. And I do have a Patreon account. Anyone that's ever done a podcast or is a fan of podcasting knows it does actually come with costs. So to host the podcast on all these different directories, to go and travel, to get all these interviews done, it costs money. So if you go on Patreon, you can sign up for as little as £1 a month. And that's basically going to go right back into the podcast, allow me to carry on doing this. I don't pay myself or give myself any money from it. It all goes right back into the production of the podcast. And finally, I want to give a shout out to the two sponsors of Mark and Me. Firstly, Richer Sounds. If you love TV, projectors, home cinema, anything to do with audio, go and check out richersounds.com or visit any of their high street stores. And secondly, the great folks at Vice Press. If you're a fan of big collectibles, prints, posters, all of them are licensed. They have the best horror collection and movies out there. go and look on vicepress.com, and when you buy something, add the code MarkandMe10, that's the number 10, and you'll get 10% off your purchase. Right, the next few weeks are absolutely insane. There's some incredible stuff coming up. I'm so proud of what's coming up over the next few weeks. But until they come, go and listen to Arch Enemy. Please look after yourself, and I'll speak to you all very soon.
You're not watching.